He asked the
Okay.
question. He asked the question with the linked dipole on
Oh, here
the
we go.
on the support pole on the hitch mount.
Yeah.
And so what I do is my linked dipole goes up as an inverted V. Okay, so I don't need trees. I've got my support pole and what I do is I stretch it out and I tie it off on these like they're like these little yard driveway markers. They're fiberglass things that you can get at Menards. They're like 4 feet tall or 5 feet tall. And what I want to point out is on this linked dipole, it's really important. And I learned all this, everything I know, I learned the hard way. It's really important that the angle of the V and the elevation of the tip of the V, it stays as uniform as you can from location to location, because the height of the V and the angle of the aperture will affect both the resonant point and the impedance of that antenna. So, you spend a week trying to tune that thing up to get it just perfect at your house, and then you go off to some park, you put the thing up, and all of a sudden what was a 1.2 or 1.5 VSWR, now it's 1.8 or 1.9. You're like, what happened? Did somebody cut a chunk of wire off of here or what? And then the next day you're at a different park, you put it up and boom, now it's 1.2. Whoa, what happened? How did that, so what you want to try to do is be as consistent from each setup. And so I've actually gone to the point where I pace it off so that my stake where I tie it off, whether it's a tent stake or the driveway marker or a tree or whatever it is the same distance, so that I try to maintain the same height and the same aperture angle with every setup. And it's not always possible, but it does have an impact. And
yeah, I've noticed with my link dipole, there's always a wide amount of variability at every time I put it up different campsites. Height might be slightly different. The V might not be the same, because if it's got more height, then you got a sharper, a flatter angle than if it was a shorter one. So it's crazy. And
yeah. And the thing is, you don't want to get a career out of retuning your antenna every time you set it up, because the next time you go to set it up, it's going to be different. So you have to learn to get over the fact that your VSWR is not always going to be 1.1 to 1 and be happy, because performance-wise, it really, the guy on the other end isn't going to notice the fact that your VSWR is 1.7 or 1.1 or 1 point whatever. So,
And the one thing that we have to understand is that SWR is really only telling you the efficiency of your feed line to your feed point. It's not a basis of what your antenna efficiency is at all. So it's something to know. It's something to mitigate if it's real high, but it's not the end of the world. You can have a 2 to 1 SWR. You can still make great contacts. Remember that SWR and resonance are not the same thing by any means.
Yeah. Correct. And your SWR can vary wildly, but resonance will typically stay quite the same. So as long as, and like I said, it's different. I get different SWRs with different setups. As long as it's 1.7 or better, I don't bother I don't drag out the tuner to smooth it out. So, and I'll just run with it, and it works just fine. I have no problems making contact.
If we're running a kilowatt through a 200-foot high loss coax, that's a whole different cat.
Yeah.
But we're not. 20 watts through a 25-foot coax. Who cares?
And you got to remember that when we run an end fed or end fed half wave or random wire, that the actual impedance at that feed point is astronomical. We're using an impedance transformer to get it down reasonably close, so we can get like a 3 to 1 or 2 to 1 or something like that. or we're using lateral line as a matching section to try to mitigate that. But realistically, what that feed point is, whether it's 50 ohms or 5,000 ohms, it can still be resonant and we can still use it. Even if it's not resonant, it'll still radiate. It'll radiate just fine usually.
Thank you so much for the questions. If you keep sending them, we'll keep answering them. Feel free to leave your questions and comments down in the comment area below. I'll filter through them, and who knows, yours may end up on our next Your Questions Answered live stream. Our Q&A live streams happen on the first Thursday of the month, starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. I hope to see you there. For more articles and information, along with a full line of VHF and UHF antennas for sale, please check out my website at www.dipole-antenna.com. Your support of this channel drives the production of future videos. Check us out on Patreon. Patrons gain access to exclusive content, and our patrons help keep the mission alive. That's over on patreon.com/KB9VBR Antennas. Well, give us that thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if it's your first time here. That's your best way to be notified when a new video is released. I'm Michael, KB9VBR. Have a great day, and 73.